Today we are taking a look at Nemesis from To Love Ru Darkness. This is the China dress version figure in the desktop cute line by Taito. To Love Ru Darkness is a romantic comedy and science fiction series centered on Rito Yuuki and the unusual alien-related events surrounding him. Within that story, Nemesis is known for her mysterious nature, her playful behavior, and her unpredictable presence. That mischievous personality gives her a very distinct position in the series. Today's highlights for this figure are the cheerful expression, the China dress with its large side slit, and the posing that spreads the arms, legs, and long hair across the full piece. The first highlight is the cheerful expression, the large red-toned eyes, the blush across the cheeks, and the wide-open mouth come together to create a bright and playful look. A single small fang can be seen along the upper edge of the mouth, while the raised hand brings the spread fingertips close to the lips. Because the hand overlaps the lower area of the face without covering the expression, the playful mood remains clear from the front. The second highlight is the China dress with its large side slit. The black dress opens high along the side of the waist, and the gold trim follows the edge around the exposed upper thigh. The decorated section with the Chinese knot closures continues down the side of the torso toward the waist, while the long black front panel remains between the legs. The pink band and gold border around the lower edge of that panel clearly separate the central section of the dress from the exposed legs. The third highlight is the pose. One arm bends upward toward the mouth, while the other extends behind the body with the hand placed against the surface. One leg reaches diagonally forward with the knee clearly bent, while the other folds inward and brings the foot close to the front panel of the dress. The long hair spreads behind the seated body and continues the outward movement created by the different angles of the arms and legs. This channel brings you figure reviews and anime merchandise updates straight from Japan. If you enjoyed this kind of content, don't forget to subscribe. The head is built around a cheerful expression that feels bright and playful, and that mood is established through the face before the hair expands the shape around it. The large red-toned eyes create a clear focal point, while the blush extends across the cheeks and adds warmth below them. The mouth opens widely, and a single small fang can be seen along its upper edge. The darker interior of the mouth and the lighter tongue remain clearly separated, keeping the open smile easy to read. One hand rises close to the lips, with the fingertips spread across the lower area of the face without covering the main expression. The hair frames the face through several overlapping sections rather than one continuous outer edge. The bangs divide into many narrow pieces as they descend across the forehead, with the central sections reaching close to the eyebrows. Shorter strands extend beside the cheeks, while longer side sections emerge behind them and curve outward in much larger loops. Some of their ends turn back toward the face, while others point downward, so the hair creates several different curves around the head instead of repeating one direction. Two circular red hair ornaments are attached near the outer edges of the head. Each ornament has a rounded center filled with intertwined raised lines, and a wider folded border surrounds that central area. The ornaments sit over the dark hair, while additional strands continue from underneath them. From the back of the head, the hair descends in many long sections toward the surface behind the body. The thicker central sections remain closer together, while the outer strands separate and spread across a wider area. Near the ends, the color changes from dark hair into reddish translucent sections. Some tips curve upward, some extend outward, and others turn inward, allowing the hair to spread widely behind the seated pose. The upper body is arranged around a torso that leans backward while keeping the chest turned toward the front, and the two arms create different lines around it. A separate white collar sits around the neck above the black china dress. Gold trim follows its outer edge, and the lower part divides into two pointed ends at the front. Two small gold Chinese knot closures are placed vertically at the center, connecting the two sides of the collar. Below them, the open neckline reveals the upper chest before meeting the top edge of the dress. The bodice is bordered in gold and forms a shallow downward point at the center. A pink band runs just inside that border, and a pink bow is attached in the middle of the chest. Its knot projects slightly forward, while several ends fall over the black surface. The bodice narrows toward the waist and follows the rounded line of the torso. Along the side of the torso, two narrow gold lines run downward, with several Chinese knot closures arranged between them at regular intervals. This decorated section continues toward the waist and remains separate from the plain black front. One arm bends deeply and rises toward the mouth, with the palm turned inward and the fingers spread near the lips. The other arm reaches behind the body, where the palm is placed against the surface and the fingers open outward. The lower body opens into a wide-seated shape, with the large slit of the china dress separating the central black panel from the exposed legs. The front panel continues down from the waist and extends between the legs. Gold trim follows both sides and runs around the bottom edge. Near the hem, a narrow pink band crosses the black surface, creating a clear sequence of black, pink, and gold. The panel becomes slightly wider as it descends and bends where it meets the surface. The side of the dress opens high at the waist, and the gold border follows the edge around the upper thigh. The Chinese knot closures continue close to the waist before the decorated edge turns toward the leg opening. The black front panel remains between the legs, while the slit leaves the thighs exposed. Long strands of hair spread behind the body and overlap the rear of the outfit. One leg extends diagonally forward with the knee clearly bent, narrowing from the thigh toward the ankle and foot. The other leg folds inward, with the knee changing direction and bringing the lower leg back toward the front panel. A black belt wraps around the ankle, and a square metal fitting with its central fastening section is visible at the front. The folded foot turns diagonally forward, with the toes slightly curled near the lower edge of the dress. This figure is approximately 13 centimeters tall. That's about 5.1 inches. For size comparison, here's a 350 milliliter can. That's about 12 ounces in the US. Overall, Nemesis by Taito stands out because this figure combines a cheerful expression, a black china dress, long spreading hair, and a seated pose that guides the eye naturally across the whole piece. The face leaves a bright and playful first impression. The large red-toned eyes, the blush across the cheeks, and the wide-open mouth work together clearly, while the single small fang adds a distinctive accent to the smile. The fingers placed close to the lips strengthen that playful mood without hiding the center of the expression. The hair strengthens that presentation very effectively. The bangs divide into narrow sections across the forehead, while the shorter strands beside the cheeks overlap with the longer sections curving around the face. The two circular red hair ornaments create clear focal points near the outer edges of the head. Behind them, the long hair separates into many strands and spreads widely across the surface. The reddish ends turn upward, outward, and inward in different directions, so the hair continues to add movement even after it reaches the area behind the body. The upper body works well because the costume layout and the pose support each other closely. The torso leans backward while the chest remains turned toward the front, and the two arms create contrasting lines above and behind the body. The separate white collar sits above the black dress, with gold trim following its outer edge and two Chinese knot closures arranged at the center. Below it, the gold border and pink band frame the top of the dress, while the pink bow is attached at the middle of the chest. Additional Chinese knot closures continue down the side of the torso between the narrow gold lines, giving the side of the outfit a clearly decorated finish. The lower body gives the figure much of its appeal. The china dress opens high along the side, with gold trim following the edge around the exposed upper thigh. The long black front panel remains between the legs, and the pink band and gold border create a clear finish around its lower edge. One leg extends diagonally forward with the knee clearly bent, while the other folds inward and changes direction at the knee. The black belt around the ankle and the visible square metal fitting add a small accessory detail near the folded foot. The different angles of the knees and feet keep the lower half wide and visually active. What makes the figure especially effective is the way all of these elements connect. The eye can move from the smiling face through the raised hand and pink bow, down toward the long front panel and the differently angled legs, and then return through the hair spreading behind the body without feeling stuck. Because of that, fans of To Love Ru Darkness or Nemesis will likely enjoy this piece very much. Collectors who like cheerful expressions, china dress outfit arrangements, and seated poses with a wide flowing silhouette should find it a very satisfying addition. That's it for this video. If there's any part of the figure you liked, feel free to leave a comment and share your thoughts. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.